Imagine waking up one morning and you find out your entire company's supply chain has just completely frozen.
Oh, an absolute nightmare.
Right. I mean, the trucks aren't moving, the warehouses are locked down, and millions of dollars are just vaporizing by the hour.
And your first thought is probably, cyber attack.
Exactly. You're frantically calling engineering, assuming it's a massive hack or a total server meltdown. But no, the culprit is a single, completely undocumented line of 30-year-old code.
Code that literally nobody understood.
Yeah, and it just accidentally got deleted during a routine cloud upgrade. So whether you are prepping for a high-stakes IT meeting, catching up on enterprise tech trends, or, you're just insanely curious about why massive corporate projects fail, this deep dive is for you.
Because it really is this ultimate invisible crisis, right? Today, we are exploring legacy IT modernization.
The big stuff.
Exactly. These ancient monolithic systems that quietly act as the central nervous system for global banking, healthcare, logistics. And more importantly, the terrifying reality of trying to upgrade them without, triggering a total systemic collapse.
And to understand why this goes so wrong so often, we're pulling from a really fascinating stack of sources today. We've got a white paper from Code Aura.
Highly recommend reading it.
Yeah, it's called Refactoring versus Replatforming versus Rewriting, Choosing the Right Modernization Strategy. But what makes this deep dive really special is that we aren't just looking at the theory. We actually have our hands on several detailed UI screenshots.
Which is so rare.
It is. These screenshots show an actual AI tool analyzing raw legacy COBOL code in real time. Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today is to uncover why so many of these modernization efforts just completely fail before a single line of new code is even written.
Right, they're doomed from the start.
Exactly. We're going to decode the 3 core strategies leadership teams use, and we'll see how AI is basically illuminating the dark matter of enterprise systems.
And we really have to start by looking at why they fail at that starting line. Because the white paper points out something that catches a lot of executives off guard.
What's that?
Well, when a massive system upgrade fails, it's almost never the software engineer's fault.
Really? You'd think bad code is the problem.
No, the engineering execution is usually fine. The failure happens because companies default to the modernization strategy they're just most comfortable with. It's not based on fit.
Oh, I see. So it's like office politics dictating the tech.
Basically, yeah. I mean, if your infrastructure team loves the cloud, they just want to migrate everything. If your leadership is full of tech purists, they want to burn it all down and rewrite from scratch.
And the risk-averse managers?
They just want to make tiny tweaks, right? They just want to refactor. But they're making these choices totally blind. The source estimates that over 40% of enterprise systems contain completely undocumented components.
40%. That is wild.
Yeah.
It's like buying a 100-year-old house, right, and deciding to knock out a wall just because you want an open-concept kitchen.
Perfect analogy.
Without looking at the blueprints, you don't know if that wall is holding up the entire roof.
Exactly. And because these legacy systems are treated as these giant black boxes, leadership evaluates their options blindly. So what exactly are these options they are choosing between?
Well, they're called the 3 R's of modernization: refactoring, replatforming, and rewriting. Let's break down the grid here based on speed, cost, and risk.
Let's do it.
So first up is refactoring. This is supposed to be low risk, right?
Yes, low risk, low to medium cost. You're basically cleaning up the internal structure without changing the core functionality. It preserves the stable logic, but the downside is speed. It is a very gradual process.
Okay, next is replatforming.
Right, so this is medium risk, fast to medium speed. This is moving to the cloud for scalability. You just lift the old code and shift it to a new environment.
And finally, rewriting, which the paper labels as high risk, high cost, and slow speed, because you're building from the ground up for maximum flexibility.
Exactly.
But wait, I have to push back on this a bit. If a company has the budget, and a lot of these big banks do, isn't rewriting always the best move to get a totally fresh, future-proof system? Why is it labeled high risk?
It's a great question, but it comes down to embedded business logic.
Embedded logic.
Yeah. If you rewrite a system without perfectly understanding decades of undocumented rules hidden in the code, critical operations just break.
So all those weird little workarounds from the 90s just vanish.
Exactly. And the new system won't know how to do the actual job.
Wow. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, because replatforming has its own massive trap, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Looking at the paper, replatforming often just means you are moving your existing inefficiencies and garbage into a brand new cloud environment.
Yes. You aren't fixing the bad code. You're just paying a premium to run it on faster servers.
So if all three of these strategies are super risky without knowing what's actually in the system, how do we make the invisible code visible?
This is where Kodora flips the script. Their core argument is that modernization strategies shouldn't be the starting point at all.
Oh, okay. Then what are they?
They should be the outcome of insight. You have to document the system, analyze the dependencies, evaluate the constraints, and then, and only then, do you pick a strategy.
That makes so much more sense.
And what's fascinating here is how Kodora operates as a totally strategy-agnostic foundation.
Meaning it doesn't care which of the three R's you choose.
Right. By using AI-driven analysis, it just maps the system. It maps interactions to support replatforming, it highlights complexity for refactoring, and it translates that embedded logic into human-readable formats to de-risk rewrites.
To truly grasp how vital this AI translation is, I think we need to look at the hard evidence. Let's look at the actual COBOL analysis from those UI screenshots.
Yeah, this is where it gets very real.
So in the screenshot, the AI tool is looking at a specific batch COBOL program. The file is CBA C01C.cbo.
Got it.
And right away, the tool flags it with a complexity score of 46.
Which is pretty complex for a single batch program.
Yeah, and it shows that it reads account records from something called a VSAM index sequential file and then distributes them into 3 specialized output formats.
Okay, and does it catch any errors?
It does. The tool actually flags 2 missing dependencies, and it identifies these copybooks, like CVACT01Y.
Right, copybooks are basically shared code snippets that dozens of other programs might rely on.
Which is why you can't just delete things blindly. Oh, and the AI also generates this wild sequence diagram.
Showing the actual flow of data.
Exactly. It shows how different files interact. So you see COTR N00C.cbl talking to Kobe all 00C.cbl to send, receive, and clear a bill pay screen, and all while it's reading a file called actdata.txt.
It literally draws a map of the black box.
Yes. And this was my absolute aha moment. Down in the logic translation, the AI points out a deeply specific, genuinely bizarre piece of embedded business logic in the primary account record output.
What did it find?
The AI translates it to say, if current cycle debit is 0, default to 225.00.
Wow. Think about that for a second.
It makes no sense. Why would a 0 debit default to over $2,000?
It's complete madness, but it gets better.
It does. The AI also found an array-structured account output. It creates this denormalized array with 5 occurrences, but it only populates 3 slots with specific balances.
Let me guess. Totally random numbers.
Pretty much. One slot has a 15.00 debit, another has a 125.000 debit, and then it forces a negative balance, minus 125.000 with a minus 2500 or 000 debit.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is exactly why rewrites fail.
Because a new developer would never code it that way.
Right. If a new engineering team rewrites this software and they don't know about that completely arbitrary default to 225.20.00 rule, the entire accounting workflow collapses.
And then what?
The bank's ledgers don't balance, the nightly batch fails, and they immediately trigger a massive compliance audit.
Over one forgotten line of code from 30 years ago. That is terrifying.
It really is.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Now that we've seen the terrifying reality of these undocumented, hard-coded rules, how do you use this insight to make decisions in your own world?
Well, the white paper lays out a really practical 4-dimension decision framework.
Okay, let's walk through it.
Dimension 1 is system understanding. Basically, do you actually know what you have? Because if you don't, you absolutely do not rewrite.
That makes sense. Map it first. What's number 2?
Risk tolerance. Highly regulated industries lean heavily toward refactoring. Think about banking with Basel V regulations.
Right, where the math has to be perfect for capital reserves.
Exactly. Or healthcare with HIPAA. You cannot risk losing the compliance logic in a rewrite.
Okay, so that's 2. What's the third dimension?
Time constraints. Replatforming offers faster infrastructure gains. If your data center is literally shutting down, you move to the cloud fast.
But there's a catch.
Huge catch. Speed without understanding creates hidden delays. You might get to the cloud, but you'll spend years fixing broken integrations if you didn't map it first.
And the final dimension?
Business and compliance requirements.
Yeah.
What are the external mandates? What is the business actually trying to achieve?
Got it. But honestly, looking at this, it doesn't seem like you have to just pick one of the 3 R's anymore.
You don't. And that's the beauty of it. Armed with clear AI insight, the best choice isn't binary. A company might adopt a hybrid approach.
like mixing and matching the strategies.
Exactly. You could refactor your core logic to keep it safe, replatform the database for scale, and then rewrite specific user-facing features.
Because you finally have the map.
You have the blueprint, yeah.
So just to recap the ultimate lesson here for you listening, strategy is not a question of what should we do. It's a question of what does our system actually allow us to do, given what we know about it.
Insight must precede action.
Exactly.
But, this raises an important question, building off the white paper.
Ooh, what's that?
Well, if AI is the only way we can currently map and untangle this messy, undocumented code written by humans over the last 40 years,
Yeah.
what happens tomorrow? When AI starts writing our massive enterprise systems from scratch, are we going to understand that code any better?
Oh, wow.
Right? In 20 years, will we need an entirely new, even more advanced AI just to decode the legacy AI systems we are building today?
That is a genuinely unsettling thought to leave on, but definitely something to think about. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep learning, keep questioning the systems around you, and we'll catch you next time.